that magic best drug. And I think if you look at it rationally, there is no best drug. So we get something that's known as potency, or how effective a drug is, for example. And potency, by the way, doesn't have a lot to do with clinical efficacy. It has a lot to do with how much we dose. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if you take something like LSD, for example, you need nanograms and you can start hallucinating on it. So it's incredibly potent. But you may need to eat a few mushrooms to get the same effect. So you're going to eat milligrams of a mushroom to get those hallucinations. And that sort of does describe what potency is. We get highly potent opioids, for example, like fentanyl, thiofentanyl, for example, which are 1,000 or more times potent than morphine. What it means is we just dose these drugs in incredibly small amounts. So we often get confused between that is potency, which just means of how much of a drug we give. And then we try to say, for example, that non-steroidals are a weak analgesic and opioids perhaps are a more potent analgesic or always work. But it's like comparing apples and pears together, because they work through entirely different pathways. And it depends what's motivating or what is causing your pain, for example. So as I said to you, opioids, you still feel the pain, but you don't care about it too much. Yeah. They change your motivation and your response to that pain. But if you've got a strong inflammatory pain, so it's all driven by inflammation and inflammatory mediators, opioids do nothing to stop that or alter that inflammatory response. A drug like what we call a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug will alter that response. And in some of our patients, it's far, far more effective than what an opioid is. Will an opioid work? The answer is yes. And we're guilty of that in veterinary medicine. We've done a whole lot of studies comparing opioids and non-steroidal anti-inflammatories against each other with entirely different mechanisms. So we've set ourselves up for that own failure in a way to say, oh, but this works just as well as that, or they're equally effective. Yeah. And it's not always true that that is the case, that it is, because it depends on the type of pain you are experiencing. But the best pain pain effects you can get, for example, if you look at acute pain, something like going for surgery, is to combine a non-steroidal and an opioid together, because you get far better analgesia after your surgery out of that combination than either of the drug on their